Hi, welcome to the Takeover with myself, Tracy Hamby. This is Dundalk FM. It's going to be a great news show with guest presenters. Each one is featured one Saturday of the month, and I'm delighted and so happy to be even in your home, Frank McNamara. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
So are you looking forward to the Takeover?
I am.
You are literally taking over the airways.
Oh, good. So I'm now the presenter.
You're the presenter.
Hello and welcome to the Frank McNamara Show.
So that makes me your sidekick.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Is that all right?
Okay, that's fine. You can be my sidekick anytime.
So basically the show, as you know, is a journey, a musical journey. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you have very much a
my whole journey has been musical, I suppose.
Do you have any regrets with that?
No, not really. No, I don't actually. I've been playing music as long as I can remember, literally.
Even as a child?
Even as a very small child. I actually first played the piano when I discovered a piano in my living room at home in Thurles, where I'm from. It had arrived the night before after I went to bed. I was about 2.5 or 3 maybe. And it was a Saturday morning. You know the way 3-year-olds wake up before everyone else. And I was awake first and down to the living room, and there's a piano in the living room. I couldn't believe it. So I started poking at it, and within a minute I had a tune, a nursery rhyme or something, and I was playing the tune. Of course my parents were listening and saying, "Oh my God, he's a genius." And it was too young for lessons, of course. But
how old were you?
3.
And your parents tell me a little bit about your parents. Your dad.
My dad was a musician. He worked for Bord na Móna, but he had a real job. And
but musicians are real jobs.
What? Is that not at all? That would be silly. That would be ridiculous. Ridiculous observation. Musicians don't work for a living.
Or get paid for a living.
Or get paid. Most of the time you don't. There is that perception that we don't work for a living. But Dad was a musician. He played the accordion and the piano. He played every instrument actually, and he had a band called the Modernaires.
The Modernaires.
And they used to go. I mean, in those days, being in a band was a tough gig. Like Dad used to play from 9 to 2. There was no support act.
Yeah.
There was no disco afterwards. They would start playing at 9 o'clock and they would play all the way through until 2 o'clock. Now they get breaks and stuff.
That's a long time.
So a 5-hour gig.
Concerts are usually 2 hours max?
Yeah.
Push?
Yeah, absolutely. But in those days you had to play the whole thing, and you got the sandwiches then at the interval.
And did you come along as a young child?
No, I was. Dad finished when myself and my sister were born. He finished with the band, and my mother played in the band a couple of times as well, although she hadn't a note of music. But in those days, you see, if you had an 8-piece band and only 7 people turned up, you'd only get paid 7/8 of the fee.
Oh, right, okay.
You know, so on 1 or 2 occasions, Mum was playing a saxophone with no mouthpiece in it, just to make up the numbers.
Really?
Yeah, so they'd get paid. Yeah,
that was clever.
But every trick in the book. But Dad used to teach music, and I still meet people down in Tipperary and elsewhere that come up to me and say, "Your dad taught me music."
Because you were
and he
teaching.
Still plays. One of Dad's students a few months ago asked me, would I come back to Thurles and teach piano? And I thought, well, that would be a really nice thing to do, because I had to leave Thurles to get proper tuition at the Royal Irish Academy of Music, and it'd be so much easier for one person to go down rather than 30 people or whatever. I started teaching last September, and it's brilliant. I have some fantastic students. It's really great. The drive up and down isn't so easy, and we ended up, I said I'd go down for 1 day, and then we had so many students that I had to go down a second day to get through them all, so I go down on a Thursday and everything. So it's been a much bigger deal now.
It's proven really popular.
It's great.
You're following in your dad's footsteps.
Well, except he didn't teach piano, funnily enough, although he did play the piano. But I learned a lot from him, and we used to often have musical evenings in the house, which I loved. You know, people would come around and we'd play music. I used to ask my dad to get the old drummer out of his band, Mixie Scanlon, to come around and play, and we'd play and have a session. And I was only 6 or 7, and we'd be having sessions. Of course now, when I hear kids talking about a session, it involves drink, but in my day, a session was just music.
So what was your very first gig?
My very, 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 very first gig, for which I got paid, was playing piano in a big band, and I got the big band bug from that moment. I absolutely love that genre. I was 11, and the band was called Big Band 71, and then next year it was Big Band 72. We never made it to 73. But, Billy Darcy was a bass player who lived in Cashel. He was Mick Delahunty's librarian and bass player. Mick Delahunty had a big band many, many moons ago. Billy had the library, he had all the the big band, the original charts, the Glenn Miller charts, all the great music. And the minute I heard the brass coming in, and I was absolutely hooked on that music.
And the song that you've actually picked to start the show
is a big band song. I actually did, I did a big band record with my sister-in-law, Teresa's sister Mary, and it's a really lovely record. And I recorded it in Toronto. The reason I went to Toronto is the best brass players in the world are in Toronto. And they're there because there's a huge film music thing in Toronto, because the Canadian dollar is usually weaker than the US dollar, so all of the Hollywood films go there, and there's a massive post-production thing there, so all the music is recorded there. So all the best brass players from all over America congregate in Toronto. So if you're ever recording anything with brass, big band, anything like that, go to Toronto. Best place.
Frank's tip.
Best place, yeah. Like that big band, actually you hear the lead trombone player featured. He used to be the lead trombone player in the Count Basie Org, and he plays a solo in this Night and Day. Actually, I have a tendency to be a bit last minute when I'm working. I just work best under pressure, like extreme pressure. So we had 4 sessions of recording. So 3 hours each session. So the first day we recorded whatever I had written, and then I had a few charts to write overnight in the hotel room. And this one, Night and Day, was the last one that I had to do, and it was 8:30 in the morning, and I was just coming up to the end, and I thought, oh God, I'm going to run out of time because I have to go to get it printed out and all the rest of it, because the session was starting at 10, and I thought, oh no, I have enough time. I was going to end it just on a vocal, Night and Day, and then I looked at my watch, it was only 8:30, I had half an hour left, so I added in an extra few bars at the end. So when you get to the end,
we'll notice that, will we?
You will. You'll hear there is a very definite point where it could have ended nicely, and then I go, wait, I've more time. There's more.
So go on, I'll let you introduce your first song.
So this is from the Jazz Diva album, Mary Lowe and Night and Day.
Like the beat, beat, beat of the tom-tom when the jungle shadows fall, like the tick, tick, tock of the stately clock as it stands against the wall, like the drip, drip, drip of the raindrops when the summer shower is through. So a voice within me keeps repeating you, night and day. You are the one, only you beneath the moon and under the sun. Whether near to me or far, it's no matter, darling, where you are, I think of you. Night and day, day and night. Why is it so that this longing for you follows wherever I go? In the roaring traffic boom, in the silence of my lonely room, I think of you. Night and day, night and day, under the height of me, there's no such a hungry yearning burning inside of me, and its torment won't be through till you let me spend my life making love to you day and night, night and day. Torment won't be through till you let me spend my life making love to you day and night, night and day, day and night, night and day, day and night. midday.
That was lovely, Frank.
Thank you very much.
Are you delighted with that? That was a great experience now, in fairness.
Oh, it was fabulous, yeah. I absolutely loved doing that record. And the musicians were great, and they loved making the record as well.
And Teresa's sister, Mary, would have enjoyed that experience.
It didn't sell very well, unfortunately. I called it the wrong name. I called it Jazz Diva. I should have called it Secret Love or something like that.
You never know.
It's all in
you
the
could
name.
put it out again.
Maybe we might do. We might do.
So you mentioned a lot about your mum and dad.
Yes.
Bringing you up. Your influence in music and that.
Yes.
Tell me a bit more about your family.
I just have one sister, so there's just the two of us, and my sister wasn't really into music that much, so I was the kind of main music man in the house along with Dad. And growing up in Thurles and going to the Christian Brothers, there was no music in those days. Now they have great music in the Christian Brothers, but in those days there was absolutely no music in the secondary school, not even a choir, nothing. No music as a choice subject for Intercert as it was then, and Leaving Cert, nothing. And obviously I wanted to pursue a career. I knew that from a very early age that I wanted to pursue a career in music, so I had to do it. So there was really nobody, in Thurles to teach me the piano either. Gone past anybody who was there in standard fairly quickly. So my mum used to drive me to Doon, County Limerick, where I studied piano with Sister Peter, and I did musicianship with Sister Yvonne. And that was a 35-mile trip, 70 miles round trip from Thurles twice a week.
And being a parent, you know how hard that is.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I suppose I learned from an early age that being a parent means being a taxi and an ATM and everything else. Counsellor,
that proved really well, though, didn't it? Because, you did get a scholarship.
Yes, yeah. I did my grade 5, 6, 7 and 8 over 2 years with Sister Peter, and then at grade 8 she suggested that I should apply for a scholarship, because if you get a distinction in your exam you're entitled to go for a scholarship. So I was lucky to get the scholarship, went to Rona Marshall in the Royal Irish Academy for piano, and Dorothy Stokes for theory, and I also went then to Peter Caton, and I went to him in London once a month.
Wow.
But that was much later. But when I was 13, when I was going to the academy, my mother used to have to come up with me on the train, because I was too young to be let loose in Dublin at 13, trying to find my way around the big city coming up from Thurles. Mum used to come with me, I'd say till I was about 15, and then I used to come up on my own. So we'd spend the whole Saturday around Dublin, go to my lesson, and I also did composition with James Wilson, and used to go to him privately out in Monkstown. So it was a busy day, but Mum was always there. So when Mum passed away 7 years ago now, I wanted to do something really special to thank her for everything that she had done for me, and I hired an orchestra for her funeral and a choir.
Wow.
And I wrote a whole mass especially for her, including this next piece, which you won't hear anywhere else. This is an exclusive. You'll only hear that in my house. It's never been released. I used it actually at Mum's funeral and my father's funeral 18 months later. It's my setting of P.A. Jesu, and I recorded this in Moldova.
Wow, that was stunning. That is absolutely stunning. And I mean, extremely moving. I'd say it's very emotional even to listen back to it.
It is, yeah. It's not easy to listen to. I don't listen to it that often for that reason. But
well, thank you for bringing it to the show.
You're very welcome.
So another question, I suppose, that springs to mind with all your composition work and all the lovely stuff you've done in your life. What about film work and documentary score? You know, that kind of element.
Well, I did a lot of TV music for many years ago. The Where in the World that Teresa was on, I did the music for that. Yeah. Did lots of documentaries and other TV shows. The 1990 Italia 90 World Cup theme. That was me. And the 1994, the American one, I did that one as well. In fact, you know, when they stopped asking me to do the themes, the Irish team didn't do as well.
Oh, right,
yeah. They haven't copped on
Let's
that
set it straight.
Connection there,
yeah.
You know. Get Frank McNamara back to do the themes, and then the team will
the 90s
do.
was my favourite now. Italian 90s.
Yeah, that was great. Desmore playing guitar, recorded in this studio where we're sitting now. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm in music history here.
Yeah, you're in. This is very, very historic building. But yes, film music. I did do one. I would love to do film music, and it's something I've always wanted to do. But you really have to uproot and go to Hollywood, which I wasn't prepared to do. But I did have an opportunity. Ronan O'Leary, who's a friend of ours, was making a movie based on Truman Capote's Hello Stranger story, and it's a very, very, very sad story. Basically, a man finds a message in a bottle from a girl which starts out Hello Stranger, and his wife finds the message. He puts the message in his pocket, intending to actually respond to her and say, I found your message, and she thought the message was from a lover. Hello, stranger.
Oh, affair.
And the whole thing was a disaster, and his life was over, and all that's very, very depressing.
Dark.
Actually, I was actually in the movie.
All right, go on.
Yeah, I played the part of Ruben, the piano player. And now, why Ruben had a name? Because no one said, "Hey, Ruben, give us a tune," or "Isn't Ruben very nice on the piano?" No one mentioned the name Ruben, but in the title, I only found out I had a name when I saw the movie back, and it said Ruben, the piano player,
played by Frank McNamara.
But Daniel J. Travanti was the main character in it. You remember the guy from Hill Street Blues?
Oh, right.
And he was an anti-smoking, like most of the Hollywood guys. Was big anti-smoking person, and I was delighted there was a part in the script where I had to blow smoke in his face as he walked by to go to the bathroom or whatever, because I was allowed smoke. It was like a smoking piano bar kind of thing, you know. But the funny part was, because I was writing the music for the film, and I expected, as the norm would be, that that they would shoot the movie, I would be miming, and then I would record music afterwards that suited, you know, the scenes and so on. And that's the way I would have expected, would have been used to doing it. And I arrived the day of the actual filming of the movie, and Ronan O'Leary said to me excitedly, "I'm dying to hear the theme music for Hello Stranger." And I thought, "Oh, are you?" Thinking, no, I haven't written yet. But so he sat me down at the piano and he said, "Can you play it for me?" So I just put my concentration head on.
You spoofed.
I spoofed and I busked a tune. But the difficult part about it, like busking is easy, but the difficult part about the situation was I had to play it and then remember what I played.
Right. I
part.
know what you mean.
So this next piece that I've selected is that theme, recorded about a month later with my good friend David Agnew on Corangley, and that's the English horn, the oboe, like the fat oboe, and a string section, and it's the theme song from Hello Stranger.
Oh, Frank, that was class. It's very film scorey, all right.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Thank God.
Thank God it worked out.
That was on the album that had Gabriel's oboe and all that. The Gabriel's oboe story was funny. David Agnew came to me and said, I'm sick of hearing people ask me, is that you playing the Aer Lingus ad? Aer Lingus used Gabriel's oboe from the movie.
Okay.
From what's the movie?
Oh, I now know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Of course, we're not going to remember it.
No.
Robert De Niro was in it.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
The missionary
And
thing.
the mission.
The missionary thing.
Yes, they used the soundtrack, the Gabriel's oboe, for the Aer Lingus ad, but everyone was asking David, is that you playing the oboe? And David said, I wish we should record it. And I said, I know what we should do. We should find out who Aer Lingus's ad agency is. I rang them up and I said, listen, you get an extra bit of PR out of this and release that as a single, except you can't because it's the original soundtrack and you don't own it.
Yeah.
But David Agnew and myself could actually do a cover version of it and record it. So they thought it was a great idea. So they financed recording an EP. It went to number 2 in the pop charts.
No way.
Yeah. The Hello Stranger was on track.
That's amazing. And do you come up with ideas like that now? You approach them. I wasn't waiting on an opportunity.
Yeah, I've always been, I suppose, entrepreneurial. And I remember a drummer asked me one time. He said, "You live in that house there, and you do all the same gigs that I do, and I know you get paid a bit more being the musical director, but how do you do it?" And I said, "I'll tell you why." I said, the difference between you and me is you wait for the phone to ring and I use mine.
Exactly.
And I've always been like that. I've always, been creating things and opportunities and thinking of, what's the point of being creative if you don't use it? Be creative about, creating events and whatever. And the next piece that I'm going to play is one such creation, if you like. If you remember, you're probably not old enough to remember. No, you're not.
Nearly 40.
No, you're not old enough.
Okay.
Well, you might have heard of them. Remember, Louis Clark did a whole series of records with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra called Hooked On something.
Right, no.
Hooked On Classics, and there were all the big classical tunes, but they all had a disco beat behind it, and they were really cheesy, but hugely popular, and they sold millions and millions of records. And I was asked to do something special by the Royal Glasgow Philharmonic Orchestra, and I thought, wouldn't it be an idea to do the opposite, to take pop songs and make them into a pure classical piece of music. And I've always been interested in, because I play so many different styles. I was classically trained and played jazz and I play pop and everything. I play I've produced all kinds of records. I even produced the Sultans of Bing. Where's me jumper? Which a lot of people don't know. That was done here. Yeah, that was done here. The jumper was out there. And they're still there, actually.
Or the Irish version, Colwell McGansey.
Colwell McGansey. Is there such a... No,
yes.
You're joking.
No, I am. I'm joking.
Right, okay. On the new Conor in the Gaeilge album.
Yeah.
Colwell McGansey. There's an idea for the record.
There you go.
Absolutely. But I've always been interested in different styles. Unfortunately, in Ireland, people tend to be a bit blinkered about style, and if you're into classical music, you can't play anything else, and everything else is rubbish. And if you're into jazz, then everything else is rubbish. And I loved Oscar Peterson's description when he was his answer when he was asked, "What's your favourite style of music? What's your favourite kind of music?" And he said, "There are only two kinds: good and bad." But really, there are only two kinds. There's the kind of music you like and the kind of music you don't like. And genres have no relevance to me whatsoever. I don't care if it's rap. But as I said to Frankie the other day, my son Frankie, rap is not... There's not a whole lot of music in rap, really. It's more rhythm. And Frankie informed me...
play on words.
Rap stands for rhythm and... What's the P? Prose? I think it is rhythm and prose or something. Rhythm and poetry. That's what it is. Rhythm and poetry. That's what rap stands for.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. No. So there you go. So I said, well then, it's not map, it's not music and poetry, it's rhythm and poetry. But country music. And I've been very lucky to play with so many different performers, so many different artists, and to write for them. Leanne Rhymes, I do all her orchestral arrangements still. If she's ever done anything with orchestra, Jewel Kilcher from Alaska, I've worked a lot with her. Counting Crows, Gladys Knight, Shaka Khan. I've had really, really great collaborations and great opportunities throughout my career. But I really love this piece.
Now, how old is this
piece? And
it's
funny, this is 26 years old, 25 years old.
So this stood the time.
I wrote this in 1990. Now, most things, like all composers and creative people, you do something and then you move on, and you listen back and you say, oh God, I could do that better. This is the only thing that I've ever written that I'm still happy with. Everything else I thought I could have done better. Now, maybe it's been downhill since I wrote this. I wrote it in 1990. I recorded it in 2000. I haven't mixed it yet. It has never been released, and maybe I will one day, but it's a whole classical symphony based on Beatles songs, and this is the fourth movement.
days, absolutely. No, I'm not joking you. I love the Beatles.
Yes.
But like, I mean, to hear it in that way presented is fantastic.
Yeah, I've performed that with lots of different orchestras around the world. I've even done it with the Boston Pop. Norrköping is in Sweden. And during the European Cup, again, you see, the football connections. The European Cup in whenever it was in Sweden, I can't remember, it would have been 96 maybe. It was supposed to be an outdoor concert. On the day, they rang me on the morning and they said, we've had 34 days of sunshine and today it's raining. We have to cancel the concert. I'm actually in the hotel. We've rehearsed it already. And he said, I'm really sorry. We're going to have to move it to the concert hall. There will probably be nobody.
Oh, really sorry?
Yeah, there'll be nobody at your concert. I'm really sorry. Anyway, they arrived and they had to turn away 700 people. It only seated 700 and it was double booked. And I thought, no big deal. It was free. It was a free concert. So why wouldn't they get it full? It was free. He said, no, all our concerts are free all year round. This is the first time we've had a full house.
Oh, Frank.
And they turned away 700 people. They were particularly interested because one of the other pieces I wrote at the same time was a piano concerto based on ABBA songs, so the Swedish connection there. It's called Swedish Rhapsody. But I'm not going to subject you to that today. That'll have to wait for another day.
Well, look, let's go to the breaks and we'll come back with more from Frank. Tell us a little bit about what you plan for the second half.
Well, I now have 4 children. Well, I've had them for 20 years, some of them. The twins, Frankie and Quincy, who were born nearly 21 years ago, and they were very early. They were 11 weeks early, and they were only tiny. Quincy was 2 pounds 12 ounces.
Oh,
and
my God.
Frankie was 3 pounds and 7 ounces.
Well, they've come a long way since then.
They're a little bit heavier now. But it was touch and go, obviously, at the beginning. But thank God they were fine. They're both very musical. Quincy's a great singer-songwriter. Frankie's a brilliant guitar player. Funny story about Frankie. Quincy decided he wanted to learn guitar. So Frankie said, right, well, I'm doing guitar as well then. So Frankie goes along. They went to Bill Brady in Castleknock and they were going for a year. Quincy was flying it, doing exams and all kinds of things and making great progress. And Bill Brady said to me at the end of the year, he said, look, Frankie, no interest, doesn't take the guitar out of the box from one end of the week to the next. And I said, sure, we'll give him another year. And and I'd never push anyone to practice because I firmly believe that you have to want to. You have
to have a passion.
You have to love it. You have to love it. You can't be made to learn music.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the next year, same thing. And Bill says, look, I feel like I'm just taking your money. He said, Frankie has no interest. I said, sure, we'll give it another year. Well, a couple of months later, Frankie saw a YouTube video. I think it was Joe Pass or somebody, some guitarist, a jazz guitarist. And the guitar has never been out of his hand ever since. We used to have to wrench the guitar out of his hand to get him to go to school. He used to actually sleep with the guitar across his body sometimes.
Really?
You know, he'd fall asleep playing the guitar. And he's now one of the best guitar players in the country. And it's amazing. You know, if we had given up, he might never have done that. But when they were 15, 5 years ago, Frankie and I did a collaboration which I really loved, and I think, you know, we will do something with it at some stage again. It's recorded but never released.
There's a bit of a pattern.
There's a pattern, isn't it?
Yeah, there is quite a pattern.
We just record it, you know. This is the music in my car is fantastic, you know, and no one else has it. It's the ultimate exclusivity.
A bit like this show, though, Frank.
Yeah, exactly. Frankie was writing this tune, and I really liked it. He was also a big fan of Muse, you know, the band Muse, and they're classically trained as well.
They are, yes. They're all
and there's educated. There's a lot of you know, classical music in their music, and Frankie's a big fan of them, and he wrote this piece and I helped him with it. We decided to record it. So Frankie's 15 and this, and it's kind of, again, genre of mixing. It's kind of like a new age piano meets heavy rock guitar. Muse, exactly, and it's called The Muse. And here it is.
Well, Frank, my God.
Yeah,
That's only
15
one
years
of
of
the
age.
one of your children.
That's Frankie, and he plays piano as well. Although he gave up when he did grade 5, and then he just didn't want to do that formal training.
Okay.
And he went away from it, but he plays piano nearly every day. And he plays really lovely stuff, kind of new agey, kind of Einaudi kind of stuff.
So no matter what,
Really,
he'll
really
always
good.
be able to tinker with the
Oh,
piano.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But there's music going in every room in this house, and which is great.
Your influence.
If you're my influence, yeah.
But by default, in some sense, it's not forced or contrived. Like
No, it's not. It's totally natural. It happens naturally, and you will hear a different genre coming out of every room, which is interesting too. But and it's changing over the years. You know, when kids are getting older, like Frankie was when we recorded that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It was like Slash was his hero, as you might have guessed. Slash and Muse were it.
Yeah.
But now he probably would never listen to Slash. He probably still would listen to Muse. But he's into a lot of kind of ambient music now. Yeah. But yeah, whatever. But anyway,
Moving on.
Quincy has a really lovely voice, and Quincy and Frankie collaborated in this next song, which was featured on a very interesting album, which I think you featured before, and you were involved in.
Ireland Laid Bare.
Ireland Laid Bare. And it was a great concept for an album of unsigned artists, and artists that should see the light of day. Quincy was delighted to be involved, and Frankie too, and I produced the track for them, and this is called Ghost Train.
I was blindfolded by all the things I like too much. And tame my conscience because I need a crutch. Will you color my mind's eye, a blank canvas for you to brush? You got your ticket to the station, it's too late now cause we missed the bus. Oh, whoa. Oh, oh, oh. All aboard the ghost train. Oh, 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 oh. And you will never be the same. Oh, 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 oh. And even if you do change, oh, 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 at least I'll be humble to your face, to your face. That the fun starts to cease while tripping bars up in coconut trees. You'll tumble down, down, down. Yeah, it's plain sailing till it all catches up. Line railing, now it's just you and us. We're running out of luck. Oh, oh, oh. All aboard the ghost train. Oh, oh, you won't ever be the same. Oh, oh, even if you do change. Oh, 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 oh. At least I'll be humble to your face. Oh. Oh, change. Oh, 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 oh. At least I'll be humble to your face.
As you said, the two boys, they're going to be brilliant, and I know they're in music college and they're doing great.
They love it, and they're great together when they're not fighting. You know, there's touches and errors sometimes, but
oh Lord,
oh dear. But when they get on, they're great, and musically they work really well together,
right.
And they complement each other. You know, they're identical twins, they're mirror image twins, so they are very close. So then there's my baby. Charlotte is the youngest. I'll come back to JJ. JJ is in the middle. I'll come back to him in a minute. Charlotte is now 15, and she's a lovely singer. But she goes through phases like all teenagers of not want to be heard in public, and you can't shut her up when she's at home. You'd frequently
she's a little shy
hear,
at the moment.
Yeah, she is just a little bit. Just a little bit. I mean, she sings in the church sometimes. I have a little choir in Dundalk. A church choir, and I play there every Sunday, and it's great. It's a lovely bunch of people, and it's good music, and I love that music, and I love writing it actually.
So it's kind of gospel-y, is it?
Yeah, kind of like Soul of My Saviour with a kind of an American ballad treatment, you know.
So forever innovating, even in the gospel sense.
Oh, there you are.
So next thing we're going to hear you coming out with gospel tunes.
Yeah, well, you never know. You never know. Watch this space. Or maybe I'll do what I've done with most of my projects. I'll get it all together, record it, and then not release it. Because I'm busy doing something else. Because I'm always busy doing something else. It's a bit like the mechanic's car. You know, I get in a quiet moment, I put together a project, but then an actual paying gig comes in, and I'm off again, and the project is left on the shelf gathering dust. But Charlotte is 15 now, and she is a lovely, lovely singer, and she's a very caring person. All the kids are, in fairness to them. They're very caring, and they care about, important things like homelessness. And Charlotte, when she was very young, wanted to put together a home for girls, because there's no place for homeless girls. There's places for homeless boys to go, but when the girls get to a certain age, like 17 or 18, they're out in the street. There is nowhere else to go.
So no safe place.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go, and Charlotte wanted to set up something. She did an awful lot of work on it, and got Fergus Finlay from Bernardo's was here in our kitchen, and she did a PowerPoint presentation to him when she was 11, and and it's still ongoing. You know, he got her in to present to another housing association. She was only 11. You know, she won a competition singing this. With me at the piano, and I said we should record this, and why don't you do something with it? So we put it up on YouTube and Facebook and all the rest of it, and raised some money for Father Peter McVerry. The song is called it's a Justin Bieber song actually, and Charlotte, of course, is a huge Justin Bieber fan. She's a believer or whatever you call it.
A Bieber. A life for Bieber.
Yeah, and she loves this song, and she sings it very well. It's called Pray.
Just can't
are crying, soldiers are dying. Some people don't have a home, but I know there's sunshine behind that rain. I know there's good times behind that pain. Hey, can you tell me how we can make a change? I close my eyes and I can see a better day. Close my eyes and pray. Yeah, close my eyes and I can see a better day. Close my eyes and pray. I lose my appetite, knowing it's starved tonight. Am I a sinner? 'Cause at my dinner is still there on my plate. Ooh, I got a vision to make a difference, and it's starting today. But I know there's sunshine behind that rain. I know there's good times behind that pain. Heaven, tell me how to make a change. I close my eyes and I can see a better day. Close my eyes and I pray. Oh, close my eyes and I can see a better day. Close my eyes and I pray for the broken hearted, and I pray for the life not started, and I pray for all the ones not breathing. I pray for all the souls that need a break. Can you give them one today? I just can't sleep tonight. Heaven, tell me how to make a change. I close my eyes and I can see a better day. Close my eyes and pray. Oh, I close my eyes and I can see a better day. Close my eyes and pray. I pray. Close my eyes and pray.
Well, Frank, we've one child left.
Yeah, JJ is a super pianist. He is now in England, in Manchester. There are two schools in England that he could have gone to. One is Wells Cathedral School in down near Brighton, or Bristol, I should say.
Yeah.
Bit of a difference. And the other is Chetham's, which is the bigger of the two.
Oh, Chetham's in Manchester.
Chetham's
Yeah.
in Manchester, and JJ has been there since September. He's in fifth year.
Yeah.
Our fifth year. They're sixth form lower, and he's doing A levels there. And
Oh, right, so he left the Irish
He's got out of the Irish
system.
system. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's an amazing place. It costs 32,000 sterling a year,
Oh.
which thankfully we don't have to pay because we're members of the EU, and I hope to Jesus
That
the
it doesn't
Brexit
change.
doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because we're in the EU and because JJ's over 16, he's just gone 17 now, he qualifies for the MDS system.
Wow.
Scandalously, in Ireland, there is nothing
Like
for
the equivalent.
nothing for
So you couldn't
second
stay
level.
here.
There is no help from the Arts Council, no help from the government. of any kind. There are no bursaries. There are no for pianists. There's absolutely nothing. I think if you're a violinist, there is something. The National Concert Hall have a scheme for violinists, I think, for under 18. But there's absolutely nothing at all. He gets 24,000 sterling, which is 30,000 euro from the British government. We've never paid a penny tax to the British government. And the school then gives him a bursary for a chunk of the rest, and then we've just a relatively small amount to pay for him. But he deserves it because he is a fantastic pianist, classical pianist. Has been recently described as a visiting professor as the best fingers that he has ever seen, and he
That's
really
better
does
than you.
Yes, he
Hold on now. Say that again.
Oh, he is better than me. There's no doubt about it, and I'm delighted to say that a little. I'm serious. I'm absolutely thrilled, and it warms my heart, and I can't listen to him playing without crying because I'm a big old softie. And
but you've actually done a piece. I saw it online anyway.
Yes,
the two of you play. It's like a piano off.
Oh yeah, we used to do this thing when we did a family tour in 2010 or 11. My party piece years ago used to be Chopin's Fantasy Impromptu. JJ heard me playing it and he said, I want to play that. And I go, no, get your own piece. This is my piece. So for a bit of fun in the show, I used to tell the story about how this is my party piece, but JJ wanted to play it, but he's not playing it, I'm going to play it. So I used to start off, dong, dong, and JJ run out to the stage to the second piano, and he would start playing it, and then we would do like a face-off and exchanging bars.
Piano off.
And we did a bit of it on the Late, but that was a lot of fun. JJ is an amazing pianist, and he is going to be a world-renowned pianist. I have no doubt about that. And in the not-too-distant future, within the next 4 or 5 years, he will have won, I'd say, a major competition.
Wow.
The Leeds or Tchaikovsky or one of those. He is that standard. Fortunately, I haven't recorded JJ for years.
He's not here.
He's not here. But I must, and he's anxious to do it as well, which is good. I must record him. But I did do a little YouTube clip of Franz Liszt's Hungarian Rhapsody #2, and maybe we might just play a little
segment of it.
Little segment of that. But if anyone wants to hear it, they can just
YouTube
JJ McNamara Hungarian Rhapsody #2.
Well, Frank, that was JJ, and oh my God, yes, he is better than you. Well, look, most people do know Frank McNamara from the Late Late, and we haven't mentioned it.
Oh yes, I forgot about the Late Late. Yeah, God, 20 years of my life. Yeah.
But it wasn't just Frank McNamara, like it was musical director, and like, I mean, there was a lot involved in it, wasn't there?
Yes, it was great because you never knew what was going to happen, and it was the ultimate live show, and I suppose still is. But I remember one time we were on stage in Cork, in the Opera House in Cork. It was one of the rare occasions that we left RTE in Donnybrook to do a show. It was because there was a national song contest coming on.
Oh right,
and that
was
that was in our studio. You remember those national song contests when RTE used to actually have a competition for a song instead
like the
of
Eurovision.
Just picking somebody. Here, you can sing your own song. Go on, off you go. There's a chunk of money. Go out and represent Ireland, which is disgraceful. But we'll come back to that. Anyway, I was down in Cork.
This is like a pain in the arts, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. What is your pain in the arts? I was asked to... What was your one? Not Audrey Hepburn, the other one, Catherine.
Again, before my time, Frank.
Again, The King and I.
Oh, God.
You know the actress.
Yes.
The actress. Anyway, she was on the Late Late.
Oh, that's
but
so
she
annoying.
didn't arrive until 10 o'clock, so we were already live.
Okay.
So there was no chance to rehearse with her.
Right.
So Gay said, she might sing a song. Will you stand by just in case? And I said, okay, what's she going to sing? He said, I don't know. So anyway, she's being interviewed, and the interview was fairly, she hadn't much to say. Gay kind of tried to rescue it and said, will you sing a song? And she said, but I don't have an accompanist. He said, you do. He said, Frank is sitting over there. I said, but we haven't rehearsed. Frank doesn't need to rehearse.
Is this all on telly?
On telly, live. A million people watching. And she said, well, does he know I could have danced all night? And he said, of course he does. Frank, you know, yes, of course. And I did, of course, know it.
Okay.
But... there's a big but.
What's the but?
I knew I could have danced all night. Da, 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 da.
The chorus but.
Yeah.
Like the chorus.
Yeah, but there's a meandering verse before it that I had
okay.
never heard before. And I hadn't a clue. And she goes, dance, dance. And I'm going, Jesus, what key are we in? I couldn't. And it goes through about 45 different keys. Dance, dance.
Oh, I'd love the archives for that.
Oh, God, I was saying, please, just somebody pull the trapdoor, because there's trapdoors on those stages and those halls. Pull the trapdoor, get me out of here. Oh, I thought it would never finish until I thought she'd never get. It's the longest verse in my career. That verse, it went on. I'd say it had to have gone on for 10 minutes. I'm sure it was only 30 seconds, but I was lost at sea. I hadn't a clue where it went, and then I heard, I could have danced. Oh, thank Jesus. And I was grand from there on in. But that's what happens on live television. But we were, as I say, we were out because the National Song Contest was using our studio, which I've had an involvement in the Eurovision, of course, a good few times, including being the musical director of the Eurovision in 1997.
Well, of course, because RTE hosted it.
Yes, and Noel Keelan, God rest him, he passed away last year, the year before, and Noel was unwell. I had to step in and do the needful. It was the only year, actually, as luck would have it. When you're the resident conductor on the Eurovision, this is just a little bit of trivia for you. You have to know everybody's song. Now, this is back in the days when we had orchestra. That's all gone now, sadly. But you had to know every single one in case the conductor got sick or, fell over or whatever, got locked in the toilet, whatever.
So a backup.
So I had to know, and always, there'd be some countries, always in previous years, every year prior to 1997, some country would not send a conductor, and it would be Noel Keelan that would do it. Everyone showed up the year I did it. The only thing I took a bow at the beginning, and I did the fanfare at the end, and I had nothing else to do the whole day.
Really?
Nothing else. But I still had to know everybody's song. And I rehearsed the orchestra, I did that as well. Yeah. But
that was a
and
handy
then
gig.
I of course, Why Me?
Yeah.
With Linda Martin, and then the year after with Niamh Kavanagh, In Your Eyes. Then I did a couple of stints with Iceland, and they got their best result to date with myself and Siga.
Really?
Did it? I think.
So you've got Eurovision in your absolute veins.
Yeah. No, well, it's a real challenge. 3 minutes is all you have.
Yeah.
And you can't be like 3:02. and you're disqualified. You cannot be
so it has
2
to
seconds
be on
over.
the money.
You have to be inside 3 minutes. And for a ballad, which is, I believe, the best type of song to send, it's very hard to do it all in 3 minutes. But I always had a formula that I would use.
So a construction,
and it didn't matter
of the
what the song. And it's more like a construction of time. You have to grab their attention at the beginning.
Okay.
So everyone goes, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you want them to say.
Right.
Okay. So there has to be something like Why Me had those funny chords that being da da dee da da. Oh yeah. Oh, you'll have a listen, and then there's the verse. And then the trick is don't lose them in the first minute.
Right.
Just keep it interesting enough. Don't blow us too early. Right. You got to keep going, and then for the last 2 minutes, you have to nail them to the wall and not peak too early. It's really quite a craft.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether the song is fast or slow. The problem with a lot of the Irish songs that we've sent, in fact with most of the Irish songs that we've sent in the last 20 years, they've had no construction. They've had no arrangement, really. They've had a kind of a bland, it's good, we might have a good chorus, but that's not enough.
Yeah, it has to be the whole...
It's not enough. There's a fundamental change in the Eurovision now from years ago. You could win with a grower. You can't win with a grower anymore. It has to be instant because people only get to hear it once. Well, now they hear it twice with the semi-final.
Yeah.
If they bother to watch both.
Yes.
But they might not have.
That's true.
In the old days, there was juries. And they used to hear the dress rehearsal, the final dress rehearsal.
And they'd use that even for the judging.
And that was what the judging was based on, was on the final rehearsal, not on the main concert, on the main gig. It was the final. And then if they wanted to hear a song again, they could hear it again because it would be recorded and they might play back 3 or 4 songs, and they would make their decision based on that. And they still had the option to change their mind on the night, but very rarely did that actually happen. But now with televoting and juries, but mainly with the televoting side of things, it's instant. It's what you see on the night. So it has to grab the attention, it has to keep the interest, and it has to climax in the right place.
And do you think that if it's the right song, it'll still conquer the kind of cross-border voting, the way they're all saying, the EU countries, some of them are sticking together and it's all this?
That doesn't matter. And that doesn't influence the result at all. I mean, if that were true, then it would always be Eastern Bloc countries that win. But Russia did win there a few years ago. But it's anybody can win. I mean, Austria won with Conchita. That's not an Eastern Bloc country. No. Sweden won last year, and that's not an Eastern Bloc country either. I remember Bill O'Donovan, who was a great Eurovision aficionado, said to me before we went out to Malmo with Why Me, he said this song is going to win. And I said, why? He said, because it's going to get loads of 8s and 10s. And he was right. Why Me only got, I think, 3 12s.
Really?
3 12s. But it was consistently getting votes from every country of the... So the 12s are the ones that go all over the place. Like, you can see, it has always been like that. Like Greece, for example, always give 12 to Cyprus. Cyprus always give 12 to Greece. Okay. You can write that script. So forget the 12.
So it's 8 and 10.
But you could get
win.
the 10.
Yeah.
Get enough 10s, you're flying. Yeah. And it's the middle of the road 10s that you can creep up all the time. And then the 12s kind of go all over the shop. But it is a craft though.
Okay, so this year, we know, it's been announced, Nicky Byrne has a song and it's been chosen without any fanfare.
I'm very angry about that because it doesn't affect me personally, but I know, we're sitting in my studio here. This studio was a commercial studio up to 2001, and there was several Eurovision songs. In fact, Why Me and In Your Eyes were both recorded in these two rooms.
I really am in musical history here. This is amazing.
But there was hundreds of demos recorded here. People have spent 500, €1,000 or more getting a demo recorded. And RTE left it very late to announce to people that there is going to be no contest.
So some people are probably recording.
There are hundreds, I'm sure, of songwriters around the country who have already spent the money to record their song. And I think that's really wrong. RTE should have announced, though they've said that they only made the decision recently. Well, you should have left that till next year then, if that's the case, because it's not fair. You can't suddenly not only move the goalpost, but actually take the goalposts away and give them to somebody. You can't do that. It's just not fair. I think that the stupid thing about the Eurovision, and people talk a lot of rubbish about, the political voting and that Eurovision has changed and all the rest of it. I absolutely believe that Hold Me Now or What's Another Year or In Your Eyes or any of those songs would still win a Eurovision today.
If they were done again.
You just need a great singer singing a great song, and it needs to be arranged properly, and it will win. I absolutely believe that. I've always thought Eurovision is easy to win.
Okay.
The hard part is getting into it,
But even more so
getting
now
into the National Song Contest. Now you can't get it. How do you get in now?
Yeah.
And it was also... it was an opportunity for... I absolutely think the National Song Contest in its old format should be brought back. 8 songs, not the 3 or 4 songs on the Late Late, handpicked by a couple of people.
Yeah.
The old-fashioned Eurosong or National Song Contest should be brought back. It's an opportunity to introduce new talent.
Yeah.
In the studio here, and that's the next piece that I want to play, is a really amazing singer who I recorded this in the late 90s, and it was sadly never released because the record company had changed heads, and it just got buried. But the point is, like, this girl came about, was discovered as a result of a talent search by Polygram, looking for a girl band. And I was involved in that, and we came across this girl, and I said to Polygram, she's too good for the girl band, and that's no reference to the boy band. But this girl can really sing. I said, this girl should be singing ballads. And he said that Paul Keogh in Polygram at the time said to me, he said, well, we should do an album of all ballads, because he'd been used to doing like the boys' own type thing, and when you have a great singer, you want to do ballads. Look at Adele.
Yes.
I mean, how many fast songs has she recorded?
She's only just released.
People say, ballads don't work anymore.
Yes, they do.
Of course they do. Adele, biggest selling record.
It's crazy.
The biggest records of all time have all been ballads. I don't care what year it is.
And even if they're sad.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Even this year,
I can't believe,
the biggest record, I guarantee you, will be a ballad. And somebody comes up with a great ballad, they will win. Sure, Conchita was a great singer too, from Austria, and that was a great ballad, and that was just 2 years ago. Yeah. So, of course a great ballad still works. And a great singer. And I thought I'd play this just to let people know that there are great Irish singers. I mean, this girl is right up there with Celine Dion. I mean, she is a fantastic, I think she lives in Ballyshannon now. She's doing musical theatre, the local...
So she's like the one that got away.
She is the one that got away, sadly. But these things happen, with major record companies. The guy at the top changes. The new guy doesn't want to pursue the signings that the old guy did, because it's human nature if you think about it. If this had been released and was a hit, and they go, maybe we should have kept on the old guy. He signed her, so the new guy gets no credit. So he's not going to bother.
Yeah.
He just buries it. So he didn't bother with it, and that was the end of it. Her name is Lorraine McGlone, and this is a cover. We did some original songs as well, but this one is a cover of a Boss Skaggs song which he wrote for his little child who was afraid of the dark, and it's called We're All Alone.
Outside the rain begins, and it may never end. So cry no more on the shore you dream.
Well, Frank, what a musical journey we've been on. This is outstanding.
All over the place.
So tell me, just to end the show, so if you're asked to do Eurovision next year, will you?
Yeah, I would, absolutely. Yeah, except I won't be asked. I've never been asked. I think somebody decided to ban me from Eurovision when we won twice. They banned me. They were.
Right, 'cause we were winning.
I was told I was not going to be accepted as an arranger for the next Eurovision.
To stop
and the
us
funny
winning,
thing
was
is,
it?
yeah, and then we won again anyway without me with Brendan Graham's song, the Rock and Roll Kids.
Yeah. Well, look, we wish the best to Nicky Byrne anyway, given
Of
it
course,
is his opportunity
absolutely.
to go to
Yeah.
the Eurovision, but
Absolutely.
it is a bit of a change in direction, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, thank you very much. It has been absolutely fantastic having you in your studio. Not even in Dundalk FM, but for Dundalk FM. We're delighted to have had you, and thank you
It's a
very
pleasure.
much, Frank, for being part of the show.
Thanks, Tracy.